questions
No, oh, not yet.
help with before we're I'm just gonna hide that.
Oh, yeah, they keep putting it on.
You're all,
Make sure it
you're
stays
always
fresh.
good. Yeah, well, because with I'm like, our heaters are okay, but not excellent. Oh, you're fine with that. I was just like, I think having that so that it doesn't get real warm and then real cold multiple times a day
Gotcha.
is probably a really good choice. The reason that I needed to survive. I put in the sort of the first half of that as the repeated chorus for folks, because I'm like, for congregational singing, I don't want to give you like lots of stanzas and a key change. Oh, I think you'd be fine. I think they'd be like, what are we doing?
Give him a chance.
To survive. The length.
Come seeker, come traveler, come all humankind, online or in person, whomever you love.
Come. Come and be welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne. Here, we are building a community of refuge where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged, a place with room for all of who you are.
This is a place full of works in progress, a place for being human together.
Welcome. It is good to be here.
Settle in and exhale. This is a time for community. Hi, I'm Carol Bowles, and I'm a member of the board. I'd like to welcome you to church, where you are on a shared journey to find meaning, connection, and community together. If you are new to us, please fill out the blue welcome card and drop it in the offering basket so we can share information of our activities and help find what nourishes your spirit here. Note cards in your pew are available to write your joys and sorrows for the pastoral prayer. We pass an additional basket, the square one, during the offering to gather these in. Write your name or be anonymous. You can write "Do not share" if you have something you would like to be held in care by our worship leader and pastoral care team, but not spoken in prayer. Many activities and events happen each week in the community, and here are a few things coming up soon. But before that, I'd like to thank everybody who helped in putting the auction on last night and it took a lot of people, and the auction committee did a huge amount of work, and I'm not going to mention everybody's name, but I want to thank everyone so much. And there are a few announcements about that. If you have not picked up an item that you have won, it's in the library, and you can pick it up there. And a few items did not get bids, and so they are still available, and you can talk to Marcy Lindy, who will be here after the service, and she can take bids at that time. There are also a number of activity listings that are still open and will be open to 8 o'clock tonight, but if you want to sign up for those, talk to Marcy also, because I believe we don't have sign-up sheets because it was all done online, but please talk to Marcy. And find out how you can look at them online too. Thanks. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Here it is. Today is our monthly potluck. Please stay and eat with us afterwards, following the worship service. And if you brought something, great. If you didn't, just join us anyway, and there's food left from the auction, so please join us. Remember, the first meeting of the Sunday Chalice Circle is at 2 p.m. today. So if you're interested in making a commitment to that kind of small group, join us in the library for our first meeting. It's already, if you already came to our first Thursday meeting, you can feel welcome to stick with Thursdays. Don't forget to join us for another month of fun Thursday night events, starting this week with our first Thursday event, the Bring Your Own Book Club. Bring your own book or books for a nice space to read together. Share what you've read at the end, or join in the joy of others sharing. And I believe that's all.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Thorson. I'm a member of your Share the Plate Committee, and I am happy to announce that March we will be aiding the organization of Juntos, and Antonio Serrano is here to tell us about it. Welcome.
Good morning, buenos dias. Thank you all for inviting me into your space. I love coming here. You all are one of our biggest allies, our oldest allies since the beginning of Juntos. You all have given us a space to organize, a space to train people, and you've given us a home here in Cheyenne that we don't really have. So thank you all for continuing to be our ally. So a lot has changed since the last time I was standing up here talking to you all. Juntos has grown. We have brought on new staff people, which has made it easier for us to do new projects for immigrant folks and Latino folks and people of color here in Wyoming. So one of the things that has always been a constant is teaching people their rights. Right now, I'm sure everybody is aware of what's happening, so that is more important now than ever. And we're working to put as many trainings out in the community as we can. We've also identified legal clinics as a big priority for us. So a lot of immigrant folks are looking for access to legal services, but they don't know where to go. They can't really afford it all the time. It's expensive and it's hard. You know, Wyoming only has about 7 immigration attorneys, I think, and I'm sure you can imagine how booked they are right now. Another thing that we really are working to rebuild, and we're going to relaunch by the end of this year, is the Wyoming Rapid Response Network. So this was something that was established in the past during the last Trump administration. We had 100 volunteers across the state, 9 leaders, and a good chunk of them were trained in this church. So we're going to be restarting that. Another project we're working on that's really close to me is we're doing mental health evaluations now for immigrant folks. A lot of people, when they're getting immigration status, they need to get an evaluation, so we're working to provide that at a reduced cost or a free cost to people who need that, and also trying to get those services to immigrant folks or Latino families who might not really be in a place where they could get them. It's a difficult job to do. My community has a big stigma against mental health, but we have people on our team who are mental health professionals who are doing great work, and they're helping a lot of families. And one project that I'm very excited about that our new staff person is exploring how we can develop this, and we'll probably launch it within the next year, is a women's support group for immigrant women. This will be based in Laramie. There's a lot of folks who just need some community, who don't really know where to find it in a lot of our towns here in Wyoming, so we're going to try and change that. So why are we doing all these projects? Why are we working so hard to help people? It's because we're under attack, straight up. My community, my people, my family, they're under attack by the current administration, by our local government. You know, the legislature was trying to pass multiple immigration bills. A few did make it through. It is going to make it harder for immigrants to just live in Wyoming. So I'm sure everybody votes, but if you don't vote, I'm going to remind you, please vote, please, because we have so many horrible people in power right now, and they're making it impossible for my family to drive, to just exist. And we can see what's happening with the Trump administration. They've ramped up ICE activity, which has hit here in Cheyenne. We've been talking with people around the state, and ICE is active in every city in this state. A few weeks ago, I was talking with somebody who shared with me that the jail was overflowing here with people, the ICE jail. So it's real, it's here, and it's happening right now. But I want to reassure folks, we can get through this. We have been here before. We cannot be afraid, and I will not allow myself to be afraid. And I'm asking you all to walk bravely next to me as we go through these next 4 years. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. It's going to be painful. People's rights will be stripped away. We will have families broken apart. We're going to see horrendous things. But we have developed the countermeasures. We are ready. We have organized before. We got through it before, and we will get through it again. So we're ready to fight. Juntos is ready to fight, and we will not apologize for fighting and standing up for our community. And your solidarity is what gives us that strength. So I can't tell you enough. Thank you so much for standing with us continuously. Your church has always been there. I know I can depend on you all. But yes, thank you for your solidarity. Thank you for your support that never ends. Thank you for your love. We couldn't do the work we do without folks like you all. Thank you.
So you can find the text to give number and a QR code in your order of service if you're electronic like that. You can use your Realm app for electronic giving. Your Share the Plate offerings and pledges may also be dropped in the baskets as they pass. And following the service, if you connect with Birgette Paul, you can also make red cards for Know Your Rights in our coffee hour time.
So it is deep gratitude for your generosity, for the generous gift we receive this morning's offering for the work of this church and the life of this region.
I heard once that the time of worship is a time to open hearts, to bind up the broken, to learn what each of us need to survive, to become more open-minded, to trust and learn to share, to sing in harmony so that we may breathe in unison, to become one body, bound by love. And so I tried to hold myself open, and I found that an open heart is a vulnerable thing, filled with love, filled with blood, filled with all that makes our lives go round and round. Its pumping rhythm echoing the music of the sacred, with tender muscles and nerves surfaced, and the light of the world feeling a little too close, allowing oneself to come near to the sacred when the sacred includes other people, is a frightening thing. A place of tender caution. And yet, we need each other to survive and to thrive, to become the beloved community to one another. We must become a shelter for one another's tenderness, not hide our vulnerabilities within, but lift them up as an offering to one another's care. Let us become each other's sanctuary as we enter this sacred time once more. So for our opening hymn, I'm going to invite you to rise in body or in spirit and flip over your order of service, where you'll find words to Sanctuary by Randy Scruggs with words by David Ruffin of the Sanctuary Boston community.
We have a team approach to the worship associate today. Much thanks to Michaela, because my throat is in bad shape. But so is my writing, so it's cursive, and she's going to read it, so I may have to give her some help for those of you that still know cursive. This is by Victoria Safford, Reverend Victoria Safford. A people so bold.
The bright thread of hope. There is too much beauty in this world to give up on it yet, and it is always too soon to surrender to cynicism. Bring your doubt, your skepticism, your downright confusion, even your bitterness, but in the midst of all there, in the center, wrap your tender fingers around that still bright thread of hope. Feel in your heart that still steady hunger for something more, the vision we glimpse every day in the rising sun across the foothills, the light that spreads across the face of the one we love, the look of knowing all there is to know and still loving life, loving us just as it is, just as we are. For this hour we come to celebrate, to praise, to give thanks, to refuse to give up, to steady ourselves, keepers of hope, brave builders of this still possible world. Come, let us worship together.
Thank you.
So now, if the young or the young at heart would like to join us on the chancel, we invite you to share in the leadership of speaking our covenant in unison before our time for all ages.
So, love, we'll start with the words that are pictured on the cover of your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is God's. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others. Thank you all. Have a seat. I wish me luck at getting back up. Well, that seems to be not staying on today. I'm not sure why.
Can we hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I'll keep an eye on that. And if it goes out, y'all can do a little one of these so that we know. So, today's story is called The Heart. Let's give this guy a try. Is that better? Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to see if, because now I have an extra thing for my hands. Perhaps, Addie, if you would be willing to hold this, or Heather. So, once there was a little girl, much like any other, whose head was filled with all the curiosities of the world. And here she is. You can see what kinds of things, if you look, is she curious about? The earth, the planets. Ooh, looks like she's curious about maybe plants and animals and boats and whales.
And fishes.
Yeah. Very cool. And with thoughts of the stars. And with the wonder of the sea. And she took great delight in finding new things. And there she is, drawing some of her new things, perhaps. Until one day, she found an empty chair. And feeling unsure, she thought the best thing would be to put her heart in a safe place, just for the time being. So, she took her heart. Yeah. And she put it away for a time. And that seemed to fix things. Though, in truth, nothing was quite the same. She forgot about the stars. She stopped noticing the sea. She no longer was filled with all the curiosities of the world. She didn't notice much of anything other than how heavy and awkward that bottle had become. But at least her heart was very safe. It might never have occurred to the girl what she had lost if she had not met someone smaller, someone still curious about the world. And there was a time when the girl would have known how to answer her, but not now, not without her heart. And it was right at that moment that she decided to get it out of the bottle. But she didn't know how. She had forgotten. She couldn't remember. And nothing seemed to work. The bottle couldn't be broken. It just bounced and rolled. It rolled right down to the sea. But there, it occurred to someone smaller and more curious about the world that they might know a way. And it just so happened, do you think you know a way to get that heart out of the jar? Oh my goodness, that they did. And the heart was put back where it came from. And the chair didn't seem so empty anymore. But the bottle was. And that is our story for today. The heart and the bottle. And I thank you all for your help in telling it, in holding what needed to be held and opening what needed to be opened. Many blessings. A few more weeks. And so we come to this time in our worship where we are together in a spirit of prayer or meditation. And as we breathe together, may we ask, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, great Creator, today we come together holding joy, holding pain, holding grief. May we once more unite in community to offer comfort in our grief, to offer the sharing and amplification of celebration when we have good news to tell. May we be a comfort for one another. And so today, let our prayers reach out to those in need of healing. We offer prayers for a good recovery, prayers of gratitude for the community that has already been of help for Walt, who had a hip replacement just yesterday after feeling that something was not right for about a week. May his healing continue. May we be grateful for all those who helped him to find the care he needed in that time. May our prayers be lifted in gratitude for the hard work of community, for our service auction last night, which was a joy and a blessing for so many, for the hard work of the auction committee, for all of the care of our community and our congregation, from those who brought food, those who set up, those who stayed late to make sure that this was a welcoming sanctuary space once more by morning like magic. You are the magic that makes community. Thank you to everyone. May we also hold in our hearts those struggling in conflict, those with small or interpersonal matters, and the great conflicts like that which continues between Ukraine and Russia. May all those impacted by the disagreements of great nations be lifted up in care. We hope for their safety. We hope for well-being, for food in the midst of famine, for care in the midst of unsafe situations. And as always in our legislative session time, we hope for wisdom, for care, and for courage, for all those who stay involved in our democratic processes, who make sure that the voices of so many diverse people around the state are heard, are amplified, who try for small wins even when losses are happening and break our hearts. May all those working for good and caring community be uplifted and supported. And we give thanks for the warmth of the earth, for the bits of green just beginning to peek through, for the ever-changing earth. So may we hold room in our hearts for the ever-changing community, for the joys not yet shared, the sorrows too tender to be spoken aloud. And may this be a sanctuary and a space for peace, for comfort, for community which enfolds us. Amen, and blessed be.
Today's sacred message is embracing our suffering from Plum Village. One day, the Buddha's assistant, the Venerable Ananda, was outside watching in case guests came for a cup of tea with the Buddha. He saw someone approaching. He had the impression that he knew this person, but just forgot his name. Soon, he recognized Mara, the tempter, who caused the Buddha many difficulties. Even the night before the Buddha had attained enlightenment, Mara was there to tempt him. Ananda saw Mara approaching and felt uncomfortable. Why should Mara come at this time? So after a few pleasantries, he asked, "What are you here for, Mara?" "I want to visit the Buddha," Mara said. Ananda said, "Why should you want to see the Buddha?" He was frank. He said, "Mara, why should the Buddha see you? Are you not ashamed of yourself? Don't you remember how, under the Bodhi tree, you were defeated by the Lord? How could you bear seeing him again? I don't think he will see you. You are the enemy of the Buddha." Ananda continued, saying what was really in his heart. Mara was a very experienced person. He just stood there, looking at Ananda, and smiled. Once Ananda finished, he said, "What did you say, Ananda? That the Buddha has an enemy?" Mara burst out laughing. So Ananda was defeated and announced Mara, hoping the Lord would say, "I have no time for him." But to his surprise, the Buddha smiled and said, "Mara, wonderful, ask him to come in." The Buddha stood and did hugging meditation with Mara and invited Mara to sit in the best place in the cave, a stone bench, and asked, "Ananda, please make tea for us." You might guess that Ananda was not entirely happy. But since the Lord had asked, Ananda did so and tried to look deeply at why things were like that. The Buddha looked lovingly at Mara and said, "Dear friend, how have you been? Is everything okay?" Mara said, "No, not at all. Things go very badly with me. Buddha, I'm tired of being Mara. I want to be someone else like you. You are kind. Wherever you go, you are welcome. You are bowed to with lotus flowers and offered bananas, oranges, kiwis, and all kinds of fruits. As a Mara, I have to wear the appearance of a Mara. Everywhere I go, I must speak in tricky language and use many tricks, and it is tiresome. So I have come to propose we exchange roles. You be Mara, and I'll be Buddha." Ananda became very scared. What if his teacher accepted the exchange of roles? He would become the attendant of a Mara. So he hoped Buddha would refuse the proposal. The Buddha looked at Mara, asking, "Mara, do you think it is a lot of fun being a Buddha? People don't understand me. They misunderstand me and put words into my mouth I never said. In the name of the Buddha, in my name, they do things that are very harmful to Dharma. Being a Buddha is also difficult. If you want to be a teacher and want people to practice the Dharma correctly, that is not an easy job. I don't think you'd enjoy being a Buddha. The best is for each of us to stay in our own position and try to improve the situation and enjoy what we are doing." If you were with Ananda and very mindful, you'd feel then that the Buddha and Mara were friends who needed each other, like day and night, like flowers and garbage. You might compare the Buddha with the flowers, very fresh, very beautiful, and compare Mara with the garbage, which doesn't smell good. Yet all flowers become garbage. This is the meaning of impermanence. All flowers have to become garbage. If you practice Buddhist meditation, you find out about very interesting things, like about garbage. Though garbage stinks and it is not pleasant to hold in your hand, if you know how to take care of garbage, it will transform back into flowers. Gardeners don't throw away garbage. They preserve and take care of the garbage, and in a few months, the garbage becomes compost, growing lettuce, tomatoes, and flowers. That is what the Buddha described as the non-dualistic way of looking at things.
And so it is.
with flowers and garbage, with Buddha and Mara, even with people. Sometimes we start from love and joy. Sometimes we start from grief or anger or garbage. Sometimes we are in radically different places, and yet we need each other. We may find that we agree in love at the core of all that we are, grow in love, need one another to survive. And so at this time, I invite you to rise, and using the words on the other side of your order of service insert, let us sing together from Hezekiah Walker, I Need You to Survive. We never know who we are in this story, whether garbage or flower from the perspective of another. And yet we do know this. I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of one body. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
Forgive us our secrets. This is the core reading. Alternating parts. Climbing the museum's spiral staircase reminds me of those rituals designed to shorten a growing, Catholic's time in purgatory, so we want to shorten that time. A rising series of postcards hangs from the staircase, the spiral staircase's outer wall. On each card, someone has written a secret, some simple statement that for one reason or another, the writer has kept bottled up until now. I read a card, meditate briefly on its secret and anonymous owner, and then step up.
As a child, I used to walk in the garden and have conversations with God. Now I don't believe in him anymore. When I was a little girl, I thought that the Easter Bunny killed baby Jesus.
People keep secrets for all kinds of reasons, sometimes just to avoid embarrassment. Others stay bottled up because they are too raw and wrenching for polite conversation. Most of the cards are illustrated with drawings or photos or collages. This one shows a field of crosses from the genocide in Rwanda.
At night, I scream at God for letting this happen.
The staircase is at the American Visionary Art Museum in Baltimore. The cards come from the Post-Secret Project by Frank Warren. In 2004, Warren started encouraging people to mail him their secrets anonymously on postcards. Since then, the overwhelming response he received has led to several books and one of the internet's most popular blogs. This exhibit, Revelation of Faith, collects secrets about religion. For the first dozen, or maybe two, I react to each one's uniqueness. Who is this person? What singular circumstance caused him or her to keep this particular thought hidden, only to reveal it anonymously now?
I was so lonely, I asked both God and Satan to bring me someone. Now that you're here, I don't know which one to thank.
Eventually, I start to have a collective response as well. I start looking for themes and commonalities.
Sometimes I'm afraid it was God who punished me with the depression I begin to develop because I didn't believe in him. I've been an atheist for years, but sometimes I miss church. Tell your God I said hi. I tried for so long to believe in their God. I play piano in church, but I don't believe in God. I want to be a Unitarian Universalist, but I don't know how God will take it. I'm a Southern Baptist pastor's wife, and no one knows that I do not believe in God.
And then,
All of my life, I've thought there was no God. Last night, I realized my beliefs might be changing, and I don't know what to do with that. I found enlightenment, but I never tell anyone because it's so simple they would never believe me. I don't want to believe in God anymore, but no matter how hard I try, I can't stop. Every time my mother calls, she'd ask me if I pray. Whenever I lie and say yes, I die a little. But I know that if I tell her the truth, she would die a little.
at the top of the staircase, the end of the exhibit, I once again try to generalize. What makes these postcards, these little blips of anonymous communication, so powerful? The single most striking thing about the secrets is how forgivable they are. The card writers aren't villains. They're just people who feel like hypocrites because they can't embrace social roles that they also can't renounce, just like everyone else. As I leave the museum, I pass a mailbox made of plastic wrap and tape, and a table with postcards and pens. I don't leave a secret behind, but I could. It's hard to imagine a person who couldn't. Because social roles are simple and humans are complicated, you can continue on with thinking one thing and saying another, or you can tell people, this is me now, this is who I am, and maybe they would understand. That hope, I think, is the ultimate message of the Post-Secret Project. You look at postcard after postcard, secret after secret, and you think, I could understand that. I could forgive that. Then you start imagining your own secret hanging anonymously there on the wall, passed by strangers who understand and forgive. And then you start to wonder about the people who aren't supposed to know. Are they so different from you? So different from the strangers you just imagined? Maybe you start to think you've been selling them short.
And so it is. All of us carry secrets, wounds, reasons to lock away our heart in jars and bottles, reasons to protect ourselves from the cares of the world, from the grief, the hardship, reasons that may be forgivable, understandable, wonderful. And here in this sanctuary, here in this wider beloved community, we strive to build a place a little like that post-secret community, where it's okay to say what is on your heart and your mind. Perhaps not fully anonymously, perhaps in a small group like a chalice circle or wellspring, perhaps in a larger space, in those times when in our sanctuary we ask questions of one another for sharing, as we did last week in our generosity sermon, where we reflected together in pairs or triads. There are so many small ways that building community allows us to move through the cycles of life, to find our joys amplified, to find our grief, our sorrows, spread a little more equitably, brought to community. We hope that our vulnerabilities can be held in care. For in this month, we're talking about healing. And we're talking about healing while I know that the world around us is one where for so many people, there are few spaces that feel truly connective, few spaces that feel safe enough to simply be ourselves, whole and fabulous as we are. We wonder not only about judgment, but about physical safety. If they knew all that I am, would I still be able to go home tonight whole? It's an open question for many people, even people who have up to this point gotten to feel themselves rather privileged in this world, safe because of skin color or economic position, safe enough. And yet, it only makes beloved community more precious when it is unknown what the world outside may have in store. We need to protect those places of safety, of care, places for vulnerable sharing. I wonder, I know that the Buddha is enlightened, but Mara is not. Mara as a trickster, choosing to come to the Buddha and ask a vulnerable question, be honest about his tiredness and his sadness, takes some measure of courage. Like the heart in the bottle, we could keep our vulnerabilities always to ourselves. We could choose to to simply go on being Maras. Maras are powerful tricksters in the Buddhist tradition with many good and wondrous abilities. If they keep those abilities for themselves selfishly, they can rise in power. And yet, to want to be a flower, to want to be enlightened, to want to be a Buddha is also a thing worthy of striving. And to have the courage to say so is a thing worthy of each of our consideration. So as we move through our cycles of life, let us be vulnerable. Let us be in hope with one another. For this place is one of the places where we reserve that ability to say, do you pray? And let the answer be yes or no, honestly. To ask, do you believe in God? And let the answer be yes or no, without shame or judgment. To wonder, are there other words that would grant you the space to believe? Do you believe in love? Do you believe in care? Do you believe that the universe is a miracle? Whether the answer is yes or no on any given day, what can we offer to make it possible to continue the conversation and to strive for a community in which we live out our mission to offer spiritual exploration, not as a classroom consideration, not as an intellectual exercise, but as a way of taking our hearts out of the protective space, the bottles that we have placed them in, and allowing them to be full and curious and open to the world, to know that they are part of a larger web. So it is. So may it be. Today and each day, may we learn to live into our spiritual exploration as a foundation for our actions, the ways that we make care perceptible and promoted and wholly part of our being in the world. For we are not just isolated beings. We are the care, the hands of the divine, the movement of what is good in the world. And so it is that when we heal ourselves, when we bring our hearts back into full contact with community, that we can find a space once more to reach out and to be of service and to be in love with the world. May it be so, and so may it be. Let us affirm this commitment to loving the world and binding up and building up what we can by taking our gray hymnals out and open to number 121 as we rise in body or in spirit to sing We'll Build a Land together.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like a never flows. We'll build a land where we bring good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land building up injustice, blazing up devastations of war, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of peace on earth. Build a land where sisters and brothers, united by God, may then create peace, where justice shall flow down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirit once saved and once free, where the ranks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build a land my people seek. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, create peace, where justice shall flow down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Please remain standing so that we go through our ritual of extinguishing our flame. Speak together the words in order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the fire of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within our hearts until we are together again.
And so may it be, as we go forth, may we remember always we need one another to survive and thrive, to build that land together in which we all have a part to play in the creation of justice and of love. May it be so in this week ahead and in all the days of your life. Blessed be.